It's one of the most inventive shows of all time, and as an adult, I queued up and got their autographs in a goodies book. So I'm such a fan. And I saw Tim Brooke Taylor recently, and I was gushing to him about how much he liked the show. He was a bit surprised, but it's a really brilliant show. It was like Monty Python for kids, really.
Yeah. For me, it was Les Dawson. For me.
Les Dawson?
Brilliant. I got to meet him as a child.
Did you?
And get his autograph. I was very excited.
Were you just doing an impression there as well?
What, when he used to do that? Oh, and
that's as far as the impression goes. It's not the most accurate one we've ever seen.
Russ Abbott.
It was uncanny, that. Russ Abbott I loved as well.
Next sketch show.
After show, yeah.
Get him in.
Yeah.
With your impressions.
Yeah. Oh, hey, I tell you what, keep them under wraps. Anyway, let's talk about your latest book, because this was a real surprise. Lots of people eagerly await your book releases, and nobody really expected this one.
Well, this is something a bit different. It's called The World's Worst Children. It's a collection of short stories about children with really bad traits. They're like morality tales, really. And it's halfway between a novel and a picture book. It's full of illustrations. And it came about because I spend a lot of time going into schools and talking to kids about books and reading. And I often ask the kids, who likes reading? And most of them put their hands up. And I say, who doesn't like reading? And there's normally a few boys at the back, books are boring. I go, where's that? Oh, I want to see more killings in books. You know, those kind of answers. And I thought, I want to write a book especially for them. I want to write a book for the reluctant reader. So I really set about trying to write a book that was as funny and as visual and as surreal as possible. And it's not too demanding on the young reader because it's short stories rather than a big narrative. I think, you know, hopefully all kids will like it, but I really want to aim at those kids because it's really important to get kids reading because if they don't read as kids, they generally don't read as adults.
And that sense of achievement that a child has when they get to the end of the book. I know Mr. Stink is my son's favourite book.
That's nice.
And he said to me, I said, you know, what is it about David's books? Because I was just, you know, chatting to him ahead of you coming on. And he said, oh, Daddy, it's the characters. It's the characters. It's the kind of the world that you create for them. That's why you'll nail it with this book.
Well, I hope so. I mean, the first starting point was with the first book, which was about 9 years ago now, was, you know, could I capture the sort of Little Britain style of comedy with the characters and some of the dialogue in a book form for kids? Because loads of kids like that show, even though it wasn't aimed at kids. And this is really like a series of sketches about badly behaved children. Like there's a girl called Windy Mindy.
We saw a picture of Windy Mindy earlier on. Any of you in her?
Quite a lot, actually. And she, they're all kind of based on sort of parts of me or parts of my sister. There's another character called Bertha the Blubberer, who's a girl who cries a lot to try and get her little brother in trouble, which is exactly what my sister Julie, who I know is watching tonight with my nephews Eddie and Frankie, exactly what she used to do. She used to roll around on her bed going, David, get off me! Get off me! And I was in my room doing my homework. I get into trouble. And so I've taken my revenge and put her in this book.
But you have, over the years, I mean, you've encouraged so many young children to read. But if anybody wanted to start writing, like you have, advice, where's your inspiration come from? We know about the characters, but how do you start?
Well, I think often a good idea is two ideas coming together. One of my books is called Gangster Granny, and I think maybe a book about a granny sounds a bit boring. A book about a gangster, there's been lots of those. But putting those two things together really helps. And also, I think, I tell kids all the time, keep your ears and eyes open. You never know when you might get an idea for a good story. Sometimes it comes out of Britain's Got Talent contestants.
Oh, well, there's loads there.
Well, yeah, we had a guy who came on, we said, what's your skill? He said, I'm going to eat live cockroaches.
Right.
And he got out a brown paper bag and he started eating live cockroaches. He got buzzed off. But it gave me a thought. If he eats live cockroaches, maybe he'd turn rats into burgers, and I came up with a book, Rat Burger. Yeah. And I didn't pay him.
It's very lucrative for you, Britain's Got Talent.
It is, because it gives me ideas. And if ever I'm trying to create a really evil villain, I just think, what would Simon Cowell do?
Is that going to be made into a film?
It is, yes. Well, a TV film, which is exciting. And a couple of the books have been optioned as films, and some are on stage. It's wonderful.
Would you write a book about Simon Cowell, a children's?
I had an idea for a story about that. Basically, he was this evil Svengali, which he is, and he had this boy band, and he was slowly replacing them with robots. And the reason was, deep down, that he himself, his heart was made of metal, so he had no feelings. But it was just too close to the truth. And I was going to have Sunita as a kind of henchman, kind of robot.
Sunita!
But then I thought it's kind of the book everyone would expect me to write, so and I thought it might date, you know. So, but, you know, maybe one day I might return to some of those themes.
Yeah. And I guess, you know, being a father now and your son, that must spark off a lot of content.
Yeah, and you kind of get to know what you know, makes kids laugh, and I'm like, I've got two, you know, nephews who are 9 and 4, and you can try out some of the ideas on them, and it's a real pleasure to write books, you know, with them in mind, and things that you think they're going to find funny. And kids are very honest.
Yes.
You know, if they find something boring, they'll let you know. I mean, they even write to me to tell me that they.
And don't you get obsessed when you do the readings? You know, you get obsessed, don't you, with the only kid in the room that doesn't look interested.
Yeah, there's 300 kids in an assembly, and you know, most of them are enjoying it. There's just one kid at the front like this. Throughout the whole thing, and you think you'd really rather be in a maths lesson than listening to me. But yeah, your eye is drawn to the person who's not enjoying it. But that's the thing. I mean, I think it's very important to try and reach all kids, you know.
And like you said, that's the purpose of this book. Those very children.
It is, and you know, loads of parents come up to me and say, you know, I couldn't get my son to read a book until I gave him one of yours, which is obviously, you know, brilliant. You know, thing to be told, but yeah, it's generally boys who are reluctant readers, and I think hopefully this will appeal to them.
Well, from tomorrow you can read The World's Worst Children. All the best with it. And now it can be hard to be honest.